Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the contracts in 6th module Civil Engineering and Project Management of S8 Civil Engineering students. And this module is Construction Procedures and Quality Management, of which we will be going to mainly discuss about the contract, types of contract, essentials of contract and contract document, which is an important part in this module. And first of all, we will see what is meant by a contract. A contract may be defined as per the Section 2 Indian Contract Act 1982 as an agreement which is enforceable by law. It can be considered as a legal document, so it is a written undertaking or written document for execution of work or supply of materials or performance of any activity. So the parts of a contract is mainly composed of mainly three things. First one, someone has to make an offer or a proposal. So the first part is an offer or proposal. The second one, someone has to accept the proposal made by some other person. So that it tells us about the second part, acceptance. The third one is consideration or agreed terms. Here the agreed terms is enforceable by law as per the Indian Contract Act 1982. So a contract is nothing but it's a combination of offer, acceptance and consideration. Consideration is nothing but the agreed term. So we may be dealing with mainly with the construction contract, since we are from the civil engineering discipline. So a construction contract is a contract specifically negotiated for the construction of an asset or a combination of assets that are closely interrelated or interdependent in terms of their design, the technology and function, or their ultimate purpose of use. Now we will be seeing just the parts of contract. First one, as like I have said, it's offer or proposal. When one person signifies to other his willingness to do a work or take up a work, he is said to be as making a proposal. So there should be a proper communication between the two persons, the person who is providing his willingness and the person who is going to accept the other person's willingness should be proper communicated. It may be either by words or by actions. So all the terms and conditions, like I have said, since it is being enforced by law, it is coming under the law, the terms and conditions should be certain when one person is making an offer or a proposal. The second part is acceptance. So like we have seen the first part, when the person to whom the proposal is made acknowledges or signifies his assent, the proposal is said to be made. And what are the factors to be considered? The acceptance must be absolute, it must be properly communicated, it must be according to the mode prescribed in the norms and regulations, it must be given with the time specified or within reasonable time. So it should be time bound also. So first one was the proposal, the second one was the acceptance, and the third one is the consideration, which means agreed terms. Agreed terms or consideration is nothing but every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. An agreement either enforced by court or not. Enforced by the court is said to be as a contract. Like we have said, an agreement may or may not be enforced by the court. When it is coming under, when it is legally fit, when it becomes a legal document, it is said to be as a contract. So every contract is an agreement, but every agreement may not be a contract. An agreement can be enforced by law or may not be enforced by law. When it becomes enforced by law, it becomes a contract. Therefore, every agreement may not be a contract. So agreement enforceable by law, it becomes a contract. Agreement between two persons, the person who had made a proposal and the person who had accepted the proposal makes a contract. So these are the three parts of a contract. Now we will be going to see what are the essentials of a contract. So the different essentials of a contract are, first one, the offer and acceptance. Like we have seen, the person who makes an offer and the person who accepts the offer is an essential part of a contract agreement. Intention to create legal relationship. There must be intention among parties that the agreement should be attached by legal consequences and create legal obligations. That should be ensured. Third one is genuine consent, and the consent by both the parties should not be based should not be forced by some other external third party. It should be free and open consent. Then the fourth one is parties competent to contract. So the parties should be legally qualified to compete in a contract. The capacity of the parties to an agreement must be legally capable of entering into an agreement. They should not be debarred from such activities. They should be fully fit to enter into some kind of contract activities. Lawful consideration. The consideration means something in return. The something given or obtained is the price for the promise, and that is said to be as a consideration. So the law and the judiciary has to be taken into consideration while forming this contract document. The certainty of terms. So like we have seen, the terms should be made clear from both the parties who are coming into a contract. So there should be certainty of terms. There should not be any unforeseen terms in that. Necessary legal formalities. So legal formalities has to be applied while a contract is being made. Writing and registration. According to Indian Contract Act, it is said that a contract may be formed either orally or by writing. So all the rules and regulations put forward by the Indian Contract Act must be followed while writing and registration of a contract document. From this we will be seeing, or we will be discussing few of them on a whole. First one, a person is competent to contract provided he is of the age of majority, which means that a person who is coming forward in a contract document should have age of majority so that he is fit for this under the law. A person who is not major, no contract shall be made. He should be of sound mind, which means that he is capable of understanding and forming rational judgments. He should be able to understand, grasp and understand the terms and conditions in the contract, otherwise discrepancies or disputes may arise. He is not disqualified by contracting by any law to which he is subjected, which means that his past experiences has caused him some issues, like the law has banned him from coming into any other contract in the future. Such person should not be allowed. So it should be ensured that the persons who are coming forward for a contract should not be disqualified by the law at any point of time. Second one, free consent of parties. Agreeing upon the same thing in the same sense is said to be as a free consent of parties. So it should not be based upon any influence. The person who is coming into a contract is not because of threatening by some other persons. It should not be caused by fraud. It is not caused by mistake. So free consent of both the parties who offers the proposal and who accept the proposal is very much required. Third one, definite proposal and its acceptance. The terms of contract must be precise and definite, and there should not be room for any kind of inexactness or misconstruction or confusion thereafter. Fourth one, capacity of parties. And both the parties should have assets and machinery to fulfill the project as per the contract. For example, a person is providing an offer or a proposal towards other person such that he will complete this work within 10 or 15 days. But if we analyze, that person will not be having any machinery or resources for doing that. But that is not possible. That is not acceptable. He should have the access and assets and machinery to fulfill the work as per the contract, as per the time provided in the contract. Certainty of terms. The terms should be properly clear and it should be understandable for all the persons involved in the contract. So these are generally the essentials of contract document. Now we will be going to see what are the types of contract. Around 20 different types of contract are here, starting from item rate contract or unit price contract, percentage rate contract, lump sum contract, material supply contract, rate only contract, piecework contract or agreement, cost plus percentage rate contract, cost plus fixed fee contract, cost plus fluctuating fee contract, target contract, labor contract, schedule contract or measured contract, negotiated contract, package deal or turnkey contract, basic price contract, oral contract, global contract, illegal contract, voidable contract, and all-in contract. First type of contract we will be going to deal with is item rate contract or unit price contract. From the name itself, it's very clear that this contractors quote rates for individual items on the basis of the quantity given by the client or the department. This is commonly used in PWD, Central Public Work Department, and in Railway Department. In this type of contract, the contractors are required to quote rates for individual items of work on the basis of the amounts given by the client or the owner. And the major advantage is that the contractor has got lower risk because he will be analyzing the quote, he will be providing the quote for the individual items only there, so that there will not be any uncertainty. If there are any uncertainties also, he will be able to cope up with that. So that is major advantages from the side of the contractor, and this is the commonly used type of contract for all kind of government type of works, in which the individual unit prices or the item wise price will be given or mentioned by the contractor in the contract. Advantages: payment based on detailed examination of the work, variations are allowed, and payments can also be based upon that. Then proper detailed analysis is done because the contractor also analyzes the cost properly. At the same time, the client can also analyze the rate as per the quantities provided, and the total cost can be calculated. It eliminates the possibility of allotting work to one of the contractors without competition. So the contract is awarded only after proper competition between the contractors, and they are being compared by the client, and then only it is being availed. Next one, the disadvantages. Then the engineer must ascertain the most likely quantities of each item. Larger quantities are generally tendered at lesser rate than smaller quantities of work, and vice versa. So the major disadvantage is that the engineer from the client side of the department should have an idea about the quantity of item that is to be required for the work, because then only he can tell to the contractor like this much amount of quantities are available, is required. So then what is the rate you are going to quote for that? Then additional staffs may be required to take the measurements or quality involved, that may increase the cost from the client or the department side. More than one contractor may be involved on the same work, as it is likely that rates of some items are lower for one contractor, whereas rates as remaining items may be lower for the other contractor. So this tells us about the item rate contract. Second one is a percentage rate contract. This is very simple as compared to other type of contract. Here the client tells us about the total amount that is to be required for this particular work. The contractor quotes their cost at par, below or above the cost put forward by the client. For example, if the client is telling like this total work involves 10,000 rupees from the client side, then the contractor will be asked to come up with an amount either at 10,000 or below 10,000 or above 10,000, which he has to justify in its contract document based on the quality or the quantity of work he is going to work. Then either that may be expressed in terms of cost, or it may be expressed in percentage. So if he is ready to the contractors are required to quote their cost, which may be at par with the estimated cost shown by the client, or percentage above or below them. So simple as that. The client will tell about the total amount. The contractor has to study it properly and come up with a cost or percentage above, below, or the same amount as the amount estimated by the client or the department. So that is one of the another type of contract known as the percentage rate contract, and here there is no item rate wise classification and all. One single amount either below, above, or the same amount based upon the percentage. So the major advantage is that the comparison is very easy, because the contractors, the client or the department will be easily able to analyze the contractors, their amount, even after they open the tender. So the comparative positions among contractors are easily identifiable by this method. Next one, there is no possibility of unbalanced tender. This is because that there is no provision to quote their own unit rate. So the contractor will not be able to provide their own unit rate for a particular work, for a particular quantity of work. Instead, they have to tell the total amount only. And the major disadvantage is that the contractor may easily form a ring, or they may form a group among themselves, and at the last time, and they will write the amount, just the amount based upon their discussions above or below. So that can lead to some issues. Then major disadvantage, unworkable tender becomes the lowest. Uncertainty about quality, speed of progress, etc. becomes the lowest. So this is about the percentage rate contract. The third one is lump sum contract, also known as fixed price contract. And in this case, the owner provides specifications of the work, and then this is commonly used in the case of military engineering services, MES, and the contractor agrees to perform or take up a work for fixed sum. So the owner will be providing all the specifications about the work to be carried out, and the contractor accepts the work to be carried out in a particular fixed amount. And the major one of the major important point in this, that the contractor has agreed to complete the work for a fixed amount. So any kind of additional works or alterations which come after the decision is being made is not being accounted for this total amount. So this is a high risk category for the contractor, because in any construction project we may know that there may be some unforeseen cost, or there may be a factor of uncertainty. So this can cause, for example, the material cost going up, the labor cost going up. So this is not accounted in the case of when this contract is being made. So the contractor has agreed to complete the work for a fixed amount. Any other unforeseen costs are not being accounted here. So that can be a high risk area for the contractor, but the contractor selection is very easy. So payment of items of work involved for any additions and alterations are not covered by the original work. The advantages, as we have seen, cost of the work is properly known beforehand by the owner, therefore he will get sufficient time to prepare the finance. Then better planning, since the total cost and work to be done is properly known, better planning and management can be done. The disadvantages, major disadvantages, like we have said, unforeseen changes or uncertainty factors always prevalent in a construction site. So therefore there can be chances of dispute. We know that what is meant by dispute in the third module. Something one person tells us about the other, and if other person does not agree to that leads to dispute. So there can be a chance of dispute between the owner and the clients. For example, if some additional works or some alterations in future which cannot be done for the same amount by the contractor, so there can be disputes. So it's not suitable form of contract for considerable variations are experienced in the work. Difficulty arises in making intermediate payments. This is an example in which a water tank was awarded as lump sum contract. Tells us about the division of amount which is to be paid to the contractor at each point of time. 50% of amount will be paid after construction of foundation, 50% of the total amount will be paid after construction of staging, and 80% of the amount will be paid after construction of tank. So we can see that the client get time to arrange the finance at each point of time. He properly knows at which point of time he needs to raise this much amount of time. At the same time, the contractor will be clearly knowing at which point of time he will be receiving the amount, so he can adjust other activities according to that. Rest will be paid only when the tank becomes operational. So this is the third or fixed price contract. Just the owner provides the specification, the contractor comes up with a total fixed amount which is not subject to changes in future. The fourth one is the material supply contract, and the material supply contract is nothing but the contractor offers the rate for supply of the required quantity of material inclusive of all taxes, carriage, handling charges, delivery charges to the specified store within the time fixed in the tender. So in this method, the contractor offers rate of supply of these materials, and this is mainly used for the supply of materials, and this is mainly used for construction materials like bricks, stone, chips, furniture, pipes, etc. The major advantages in this is that the client or the department need not worry about any loss of materials during transit, during handling and handling charges also. They need not get into consideration since they have provided all those amount in the material supply contract. Then as the payment in the type of contract is made promptly, the contractors try to supply the order even at less profit. They may not try to take a large amount of profit from the supply, therefore the department or the client will be getting the raw materials in a low cost. Major disadvantage is that proper quality of materials need to be checked, since the client is not taking the material directly from the outside. He will be engaging this contractor for that, he has to check the quality properly before taking into for production. Here also the contractor may form a ring or form a group to get the order at a higher rate. So they will be having a discussion among themselves, and they will be quoting minimum. They will not be quoting minimum amount. They will be always going with the higher amount, in which the client has to agree for a higher amount, and the profit will be shared among these contractors. So that is the fourth type of contract, material supply contract. The fifth one is the rate only contract. The contractors quote rate only. The quantity cannot be measured, because for example, in this case, this is a special kind of work. In this case, we will be seeing only quote, the rate only will be quoted. Quantity cannot be measured. So quantity is measured only after the work is being completed. The quantity will be measured, and they will be paid based upon the quantity of work being carried out. For example, the contractor will be saying for a particular unit of work they will be quoted, they will be telling 10 rupees. Then the final work will be completed, and they will be seeing the final quantity as 10 units. So 10 units multiplied by the rate for 1 unit will be this one, 10. Therefore they will be getting the total amount. So they will be quoting the rate and the this one, measurement of quantity. This is mainly because due to some reasons we are not able to understand what is the corresponding measured quantity, what is the corresponding quantity to be measured. For example, if you take into consideration about site investigation, bore wells, or SPT, standard penetration test, before starting the work we will not be able to analyze at which depth we have to finish the work, at which depth we will be able to get good soil. We can come to a conclusion. In such cases, the rate will be quoted, and they will be going till they get the final positive result, and from that they will be finally telling about the total cost. That tells us about the rate only contract. Next one is a piecework contract, which is an exceptional contract which is mainly used for small activities. Petty works valued up to 10,000 rupees can be done by piecework agreement through the contractors. And in this case, the importance is that this can be done for immediate works, something that requires immediate response. This kind of contract can be avoided, and in this case this does not involve any kind of work order or any work schedule, and at the same time this does not ask for any kind of security money or penalty clause or any kind of things. So detailed specifications and the cost of work to be mentioned, and this most important point is that this cost is being limited to a maximum of 10,000. Advantages and disadvantages of piecework contract. And we know that immediate response work are being included in piecework contract. Therefore urgent small works can be done without inviting tenders, since the amount is being limited to 10,000 rupees. And if a contractor delays to execute work, another contractor can be called upon soon fastly without any delay, so the urgent works can be completed. Then disadvantages, the main importance is that good contractors does not get involved in piecework contract, since the amount is very low, so their margin of profit also will be very less. And the next one is that the petty work contractor will be having little experience, since the good contractor, experienced contractors does not take much interest in taking up this works. The small scale contractor, petty contractor will be involved in this one. Therefore their quality of work may not be as good as the good contractors. Next one, seventh one is the cost plus percentage rate contract. We will be having 3 cost plus contracts. First one is cost plus percentage rate contract. Second one is cost plus fixed fee contract. Third one is cost plus fluctuating fee contract. We will be seeing one by one, comparing them. The first one, it is said that there will be the contractor will be paid an actual cost plus an additional agreed percentage amount for the profit of the contractor. For example, say 10% or 15%. For explaining this, we can see that the client or the department pays the contractor an agreed actual cost plus an additional percentage of amount corresponding to the actual cost incurred for the project. And this the major advantage is that the contractor works of urgent nature will be completed very easily, and Other important thing regarding the contract is that the uncertainty issue can be avoided, since the actual cost will be paid by the client or the department to the contractor. Along with that, when the contractor completes the work, an additional percentage of amount, for example 10%, will be paid for the contractor also. So he will get that amount as the profit. At the same time, he will be able to complete the work properly also. And one of the major disadvantage in this case is that the contractor may try to increase the cost of his cost of the work, which means that if the actual cost increases, we know that the amount, the percentage of amount the contractor received is a percentage of the actual cost. Therefore, if the actual cost increases, likely the percentage the contractor may get also increases. Therefore, his profit increases. Therefore, he may try to increase the actual cost also. Another disadvantage may be like carelessness from the part of the contractor, because even if he does not complete the work on time, even if he delays the work, also he will be getting that percentage, size 10%. Therefore, he will not be much cared or concerned about the work. So no bill of quantities is required. If the contractor has to arrange all the materials and labors, then like we have set 10%, all an agreement is prepared with all the conditions. Rest all things the same. The only thing is that the contractor will be getting an agreed percentage in addition to the total actual cost. Like we have discussed about the advantages, urgent nature, then uncertainty can be monitored. Then disadvantages, he will try to make the cost as high as possible, so that his percentage also will be increasing, because he may try to be careless, then so that he has nothing to lose and his profit is assured. Tends to spoil the dashing qualities of those carrying out the work. Next, the second cost plus is cost plus fixed fee contract, and this is the updation from the last one is that in this case the contractor will be paid an actual cost of the work by the client or the department. Along with that, he will be getting an agreed fixed lump sum amount, which means that it is not based upon the percentage, it is a fixed amount that is being fixed in the contract itself. So the major important thing is that from the part of the client, even if the contractor tries to increase the actual cost, that does not mean that his profit percentage will not increase. That amount will remain fixed throughout. So in this case, the major advantage, the contractor tries to work the work completely speedily, because he can attain that fee amount, that fixed fee amount, lump sum amount, as soon as possible. That is the advantage side. But it has got disadvantage side also. The disadvantage side is that his intention will be complete the work as early as possible, because he will be getting that amount as soon as possible. So for that, he may compromise on the quality of the work. He will be going to complete the work as soon as possible, but he will not be concerned about the quality of the work, since if the quality of work is good or bad or average also, he will be getting that same lump sum amount. That is one disadvantage. And the second major disadvantage is that in order to his intention to complete the work at an earlier pace, he will be acquiring the materials, and he will be purchasing the materials and engaging labor at higher charges. So the actual cost may go up. So even if the actual cost go up also, he will be getting the same amount. So in this perspective, cost plus fixed fee contract, the advantage is that the work may get completed fastly. The disadvantage is that the quality of work may get compromised, and also at the same time the higher rate and higher charges, the actual cost may go up, which is not beneficiary for the client or the department. Third one, cost plus fluctuating fee contract. This is the best one, cost plus contract. In this, both the owner and the contractor is benefited. And here we could see that the major important thing is that the actual cost estimation must be precise. So this terms and condition is like this: the actual cost will be paid by the owner to the client, owner to the contractor, plus an amount of fee inversely variable according to the increase or decrease of the estimated cost as agreed first by the both parties. For example, if the client has decided has estimated the total cost of the work to be 1000 rupees, for example. And if the contractor is able to complete the work for 900 rupees, then that 100 rupees is being saved by the corresponding client, and that proportion will be provided as a bonus, or that will be provided as a extra amount to the contractor. So contractor will benefit if he is able to keep the actual cost within the estimated cost. And this is applicable the other way also, which means that if the estimated cost was 1000 rupees and if the actual cost came to be 1100 rupees, which means that 100 rupees is surplus or exceeding the estimated cost, which means that the amount that he is going to get apart from the actual cost is going to reduce along with that. So actual cost estimation must be very precise. If the estimate is more than the actual cost, the contractor get benefited. So the estimate should be properly done. In the inefficiency of the estimator can lead to an increased benefit to the contractor, so that should not happen. So actually this is higher the actual cost, lower will be the value of fee, and vice versa. So this is the best one among the three cost plus percentage rate contract, in which the contractor, the actual cost plus additional agreed percentage for profit is given to the contractor. Next one is cost plus fixed fee contract. The actual cost plus a fixed amount is given to the contractor, and in this case, based upon their performance, actual cost plus an additional amount is given that is inversely variable to the increase or decrease in the estimated cost. If the actual cost is less than the estimated cost, the higher amount will be paid to the contractor. If the actual cost is more than the estimated cost, lower amount will be paid to the contractor. Target contract, and in this is like a bonus, and in which this is a method based on reward and reprimand. And like we could see here, the contractor will be paid a cost plus percentage basis amount on the work performed under this contract, and in addition he will be receiving a percentage plus or minus based on the saving or excess affected, which means that if the actual cost came to be very low than the estimated cost, which means that is a profit, that is a saving for the corresponding client. And according to that, if the saving is being done in a particular project, then the contractor will be getting a percentage plus according to that saving. And if the actual cost overrun the estimated cost, which means that the amount is excess as corresponding to the client side or department side, then the percentage will be minus. So the bonus will be received will be very less as compared to the other side. So this is mainly in the case of target contract. If the contractor is able to make some savings for the client, then he will be getting a bonus percentage, then the contractor will be getting a bonus percentage corresponding to that saving. If the contractor fails to achieve a saving and it resulted in an excess amount for the client, which means that it will be a percentage minus or bonus minus or a reduction or penalty in that case. So it will be awarded a reward. If he saves for the client, he will be awarded a reprimand or a penalty or a reduction in bonus if he is not able to provide a saving for the corresponding client. Next one is labor contract. As the name suggests, only labor supply is being taken into consideration. The item rate basis for the labor is being provided. So all the materials, all the other tools and equipments will be provided by the owner or department at the site. The contractor has to supply the labor, and the labor will be charged based upon the right. For example, for a particular skilled labor, this will be the item rate for one person, and for an unskilled labor, this will be the rate. For the semi-skilled, this will be the rate. Likewise, he will be providing. In normal conditions, when a contractor supplies labor to the site, he will be supplying the tools also along with that, and major plants as well as machineries or equipments will be provided by the owner or department itself. If so, some variations are to be incorporated, it has to be mentioned clearly in the document. Who has to provide the corresponding tools, who has to provide the equipments, machinery, all things has to be mentioned in the contract itself. The advantages, overcoming the shortage of materials can be done, is monitored by this person. Then contractor is risk-free because he has to provide only the labor. He need not take into consideration about the availability of materials, tools, equipments, etc. Then materials available in the government stores is utilized properly by the client. Disadvantages, constant accounting of materials is to be done from the client side. Therefore the client, if he is not aware of that, he has to appoint a person for that. And then large storage space is also required. Otherwise the contractor will be concerned with that. He will be bringing the materials. In this labor contract, only labors are being provided. Therefore all the storage facilities has to be provided by the client. So client has to have a large storage space to store the materials. And next one is 12th one is scheduled contract or measured contract. And we have seen a lump sum contract in the types of contract, and except lump sum contract, all other contracts are measured contract, which means that measured contract means you will be knowing the item rate for a particular work, and finally we will be doing the measurements, and the total quantity incurred multiplied by the item rate will give you the total amount to be paid to the contractor. And those type of contracts are said to be as a measured contract. We have seen in the example like in site investigation or bore wells. In site investigation we know that at which point we will be able to finish the work. So therefore we will be analyzing the rate for each unit work. For example, for penetration to 1 meter we will be having this much amount. Then we will be analyzing at the end of the work, when the work turns to be positive, we will be analyzing how much meter it has been penetrated. So the number of meter penetrated multiplied by the amount incurred for 1 meter will give you the total cost of amount. So that is a common kind of contract which comes in the measured contract or scheduled contract, and this is done except in the case of lump sum contract, in which a fixed amount is being used, which we have discussed as the types of contract, third type of contract. So total cost of a work is worked out by detailed measurement of different items of work after its completion. Payment to contractor is made on the measurement of actual work done. Next one is negotiated contract. Negotiated contract is known as a partially formal contract type of contract, and in this case all the contractors are not invited for the particular work. Only pre-selected or shortlisted or specially selected contractors are invited, and that may be based upon many factors, like based upon their previous experience, financial status, general reputation, their work turnout, whatever may be, that may be based upon that. And that kind of contract awarded to the pre-selected or shortlisted type of contractors are said to be as negotiated contract. There will be many stages of mutual negotiation between the contractor and the client. It will be involving extensive discussions and all, and based upon that they will be awarding the contract. The major advantage of that is that there will be less chances of dispute between the client and the contractor, because this contract has been placed between the client and the contractor whom the client knows personally, or those who have been selected earlier. So there is no chances of issues raising between these two persons, and there has been this contract has been awarded after various levels of negotiation or discussions. So chances of dispute are very less. Next one is package deal or turnkey contract. And this kind of contract has been which is being explained in the name itself, turnkey contract or a package, which involves the entire package is being involved here. This is a type of contract that can be explained as lump sum contract also. Lump sum contract with the design construction method of delivery is known as turnkey contract, which means that it involves all the activities coming under a single umbrella. The engineering aspects, the construction aspects will be coming under the same contractor. The owner does not want to subdivide each activity to each contractor or subdivide the activities to different persons and come or take together. He wants to have all the activities under a single contractor. So he will be inviting tenders from the contractors, and the contractor will be providing the design of construction, the estimate of construction, everything will be provided, estimated cost will be provided on a lump sum basis. And then the owner or the department will be receiving that, and he will be analyzing if each part of each contractor, and he'll be awarding the decision or awarding the contract the best suitable design or the best suitable contractor. So that comes as among the package deal or the turnkey contract. As the name suggests, package suggests everything: the planning, design, plan specification, preparation of estimates, construction services, all comes under a single package by a single person or a single contractor. And that tells us about the turnkey contract, which is an updation to the lump sum contract. Next one is the basic price contract, and the basic price contract is very useful when the market is unstable, when the prices of the materials changes very rapidly. Then no contractor will be coming up to carry out the work, so they will be having a slight modification on the unit price or item rate contract, and that is a basic price contract. And the contractor will be mentioning the basic price of the essential materials in the contract, like cement, steel, etc., and based upon that he will be providing the contract. And if any changes happening in the market, and then that changes is included in the basic price contract. The next one is oral contract. As the name suggests, nothing but the contract is just between two persons, between the client and the contractor, on spoken words, and no writing or no legal document is being made. And it is as good as the paper written, but the main thing is that there is no proof if some kind of dispute occurs. If some kind of dispute occurs between the client and the contractor during the course of the work, then no proof on either party side to state that their side is correct is not available. So therefore that is one of the major disadvantage of the oral contract. The next one is the global contract, and in the case of global contract we will be seeing a special kind of contract which is not constrained to the construction site itself. This is not limited to a single domain. This is a multilateral agreement that may be between two countries or maybe between two large organizations like World Health Organizations or any free reign organizations, maybe like that. So that stands above all national and supranational agreements, and it regulates various issues that is affecting the entire globe or entire world as a whole, and they will be dealing with such issues. Stands for promotion of sustainability, maintenance of peace between two countries or between two organizations, compliance with the principle of justice, promotion of global welfare, safeguarding human rights. All those contract that is being made not between two just persons, not just confined to a client and a contractor, between two large organizations or between two countries comes under the on a global contract. On a global perspective, this is taken into consideration. The next one is a voidable contract, and voidable contract is a contract which lacks one or more elements of a particular contract. A voidable contract is one that is void as to the wrongdoer but not void as to the party wronged, unless that party elects to treat it as void, which means that some part is missing in some part of this one. So if the consent of the party to the contract is not free, party can bring an end to the contract by filing a lawsuit. That is said to be as a contract by coercion. So we have seen that any party who coming into the contract should be of free consent. If it is not so, it can be cancelled, and that is said to be as contract by coercion. So voidable contract is one that is affirmed or rejected by the option of one of the parties, not the option of the third party. Either person who is providing the proposal or the person who is accepting the proposal should be directly rejecting or ending up the party or the contract. That is said to be as the voidable contract. Next one, all-in-one contract, which is almost same as the case of package contract, in which all the activities are being mentioned by the owner. The owner wants all the activities to be coming under a single contract or a single contract document. Then based upon that, the contractor has to submit the investigation, preliminary investigation, reconnaissance, design, construction cost, the estimated cost, all the works including AMC, annual maintenance contract, has to be provided. So all this coming under a single contract is said to be as all-in contract. The next one is illegal contract. Actually, this is not a contract. Something that is illegal will not be made into a contract, because contract is an agreement that is enforced by law, which comes under the legal activities. So that is not considered as a contract. Still, there can be something known as a illegal contract. An illegal contract is something that, if it involves something that is criminal act or civil wrong or against public good, that is said to be as illegal contract. As we have seen the example, selling firearm to one who doesn't have a license to hold one is an illegal contract. And likewise, all those activities which is not of public good, we said to be as illegal contract. And these are the 20 different types of contracts we have discussed. And in this case, there are 20. We will not study 20 of them, but you should have idea around 10 of the contract. And that too, you should not, if asked about explain about 5 different types of contract, you should not write just global contract, voidable contract, all-in contract, negotiable contract. You should give importance to what is meant by item rate contract. Then you should give importance to cost plus 3 different types, then fixed price contract, percentage rate contract, and those are the exact types of contract that is related to the construction field. So you should give importance for that.